What's up, guys? So today I figured I would show you guys how to paint the insides of your headlights. Now, a few months ago I made a video showing how to bake your headlights to separate them. However, I was just replacing my headlight and I already had the insert painted, so I just swapped it over. I did receive a question on how to tape off the ring, the chrome ring around your headlight, and how to get a nice even line. So I want to cover that today. Now, there are a couple different ways to paint your headlights. They are your headlights, so feel free to use whatever color you want. I prefer to use gloss black. A lot of guys also like matte black. For a car like an Impreza or an STI, an Evo, any type of tuner car like that, it's usually best just to go with something that's clean and simple, like black. In my experience, trying to match the car color like you see on some exotics usually doesn't go so well with imports. But again, it's your car, it's your headlights, so feel free to do whatever you want. But there are a couple things that I will need. I have found that Krylon Fusion for plastic works best. When you use this type of spray paint, you don't have to prep the inside at all. Don't touch it and don't get your oily fingers on it or anything like that. But other than that, I never prep the inside of my headlights, and I've never had a problem with it peeling or flaking or anything like that. I also recommend using painter's tape. You could use a different type of tape like Scotch tape, but it usually doesn't work well for painting, so I do recommend either the green or blue painter's tape. So if you don't know how to separate your headlights, then I recommend you watching my video on that. I'll drop a link in right now. But assuming that you do, I'm going to show you how I personally paint my headlights. So after you bake your headlights and you get them apart, there is this plastic insert that has 4 or 5 screws. You will have to remove those, and then this whole piece will come out. This is the piece that you're actually going to paint, so you don't have to worry about any of this. Set that aside. And this is the piece that you could paint however you want. Some guys leave the ring chrome, which I did. They were actually painted by the previous owner, and I just kept that look because I like it. Give some depth to the headlight instead of it being all black. But again, do whatever the hell you want. So today I'm going to show you how to tape that off. And on my headlights in particular, and I think most other cars, there is actually a ring and there is an angle to it. So as long as you take your time when you're taping and you follow that angle, you should get a nice clean line. I'll bring you in closer to my headlights. They're not perfect, but from 2 feet away, you can't even tell. And if you want a cleaner line, then just take more time and be careful doing it. This is blue painter's tape, so you could reapply it as much as you want until you get the line perfect how you want it to be. So you're just going to start in one area, and you're just, again, going to take your time and slowly apply it and follow that curve the best that you can. Now, once you have the outside of the ring taped, all you have to do is line the inside with another piece of tape. So here's my headlight taped off. You just want to make sure that you take your time when taping. That's going to directly affect the quality of the finished paint job. And also, if you have new tape, use that. This blue painter's tape that I have is a little bit old and it's losing some of its tackiness, and it keeps wanting to peel up, so I have to keep pushing it down, which is a huge pain in the ass. So if you have brand new tape, I highly recommend using that. Now, when I paint this, I'm going to use my Krylon Fusion right here and just spray everything with light coats until I build up a nice thick dark coat. And it's optional to paint the reflectors as well. I painted them on my car, but if you want to keep them orange, then you could take them off, and there is a screw on the end that you could just remove for that and reinstall them after you're finished painting. But I'm going to start right now and just spray these down. All right guys, so here is my finished headlight insert. You want to make sure that you don't touch the paint until it's fully dry, and you want to make sure that you aren't peeling the tape off until it's fully dry. Otherwise you could run into issues. But that's all I have to do now is peel off this blue tape. And I want to do that carefully, again, making sure that the paint is dry so that I don't peel up an edge. And if I realize that the paint is not dry, then I'll just leave it set for a while, but I've let this set for at least 20 minutes or so. So you just want to peel off all this blue painter's tape, and you should have a nice clean chrome ring left behind. There you go. And as I said earlier, you really want to make sure that you take your time taping it off, because with spray paint, as you know, it's going to find any crevice and any little gap that you left in the tape. So you don't want to rush that and find out later that the paint has seeped in under the tape, because that defeats the whole purpose and it screws up your paint job. So take your time, tape it right. If you have to retape it, then retape it, but don't spray it until your tape is perfect, because otherwise it's going to create a mess. So I just have to take this insert and place it back into the housing. And if you saw my previous video, you know this housing is junk. It's what I removed from my car earlier, so I'm not using it. But you would reattach all the screws that hold this in place. If you saw my other video, that shows you exactly how to put this all back together, and then it would go back together just like this, and you would have a painted headlight. As I said, the chrome ring is optional if you want a chrome ring. Otherwise, you could paint it for a low-key look. I really like the depth that it gives the headlight, and it kind of ties everything in together with the other reflectors that are in the headlight. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's a very basic, simple how-to. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.